Ugh. Oh, crap. Oh. Oh, crap, what did I do? Okay, that's fine. Whew. Oh, crap. How did I do that? Whatever. Hey everybody, the Respiral here, and welcome to Ace Attorney Investigations, Miles Edgeworth. Okay, right, I'm trying to remember all of my DS controls because I haven't played a DS game in a very long time. Like, the last time I played a DS game was the End of Trials and Tribulations, which was February the 11th, which was nearly a month ago. Bloody hell, I keep forgetting to turn down my audio. Jesus. Turnabout visitor. Woo! Let's do this. Okay, I might have turned it down a bit too much. March 14th, 1:16 AM in question mark. To make sure the defendant is found guilty, what other choice do I have? That's the job of a prosecutor, after all. Ooh. That may be true, but why? Oh, pardon me. Why go this far? Ooh, the moon. Sorry, maybe I wasn't clear enough. But a guilty verdict is all that matters to me. All that makes. Oh, bloody hell. No matter what the cost. Oh dear. Ooh, a pretty boy. I'm a prodigy among prosecutors. Always have been, always will be. Interesting. Honestly, this is actually a really cool spin on the Ace Attorney series, because it's completely different with how the game plays. It's still, I don't know, it goes from pretty much being a visual novel to being a visual novel adventure. It's strange. So March 14th, prosecutors building the 12th floor hallway. Oh boy. It's hard to believe that I've been away from my office for a whole month. And also the fact we're playing as Edgeworth, which is awesome! I hope Detective Gumshoe has been keeping an eye on my office and keeping it clean. The door is unlocked. Detective Gumshoe? What's this smell? It's very familiar. Blood? Oh god. Also, we get to see sprites and everything, which is pretty damn cool. What the? Oh dear. What's the meaning of this? Freeze. Oh no. Identify yourself. Shut up. You've got some nerve, committing murder in a prosecutor's office. Was that a threat? Let me make one thing very clear. What? No one gets away with committing murder in my office. No one. Whew. That was a close one. My name is Miles Edgeworth, and I work as a prosecutor in my local district. Little did I know that upon my return home after a month abroad, I would be thrust into a multitude of cases and some very frantic and busy days. Indeed. Ain't no rest for the wicked. Whoa! The High Prosecutor's Office, room 1202. I finished photographing the victim's body, sir. Very well. Please continue your investigation. Yes, sir. Ah! Look who it is! Mr. Edgeworth, sir. Are you okay, sir? Keep it down, detective. This is a crime scene. When I heard that a murder had taken place in your office, I ran up here straight away. This is Dick Gumshoe. He's a detective with the local precinct. I'm the one they assigned to handle this murder case for the time being. It's also really cool seeing this, because it's actually like I mean, you actually see them conversing with one another, whereas in Ace Attorney, where you play as Phoenix, you're mostly just seeing the character that you're talking to. You don't get to see Phoenix. Unless it's, you know, in the trial. You're looking a little pale, sir. Are you hurt? No, I'm perfectly fine. However... Look what they did to your office. It's totally trashed. I'll say, the culprit sullied my floor with dirt rather well. No one gets away with tracking mud into my office. Whoa, sounds like you're getting really burned up over this whole thing. This crime was committed in my office, so it is my responsibility to solve it. Ho-ho! That's just like you, Mr. Edgeworth. Okay, time to do some investigating. Agreed. Our first course of action is to gather relevant facts and leads. We must not overlook anything, no matter how small, if we are to find the truth. So I'll keep any leads or information we find etched into the forefront of my mind. Speaking of things that pique my curiosity, why of all places did the murder occur in my office? So, here we go. Crime scene, my office. Is it really coincidence that the murder took place in my office? I get the nagging feeling that this is something important to keep in mind. Yeah, I was wondering that myself, sir. I mean, you can't really say it's just a coincidence, can you? No, not really. Especially because of this. The key to your office. Is this where we get introduced to the logic sequence? What do you mean, sir? If you think about it carefully and use logic, it should become clear to you. Logic? By finding the connection between two pieces of information, and connecting them, new information is born. That is the end result of using logic. So, how do you use it? First, I recall information through the logic button, and then connect them together. Now, to touch the logic button and recall the facts, I'm pretty sure I can just press L. I can indeed. Yeah, this is also a game that can be played entirely with a controller, which is awesome. So I need to connect my thoughts. So for security reasons, this office's door has a lock built into it. What? Security reasons, my ass. Every door should have a lock on it. For the most part, yeah. Especially in like an office scenario, or work scenario more so. Right, so you connect crime scene, my office, with the office key. Oh, actually, you have... Oh, no, press Y to connect. God, what a weird series of buttons to press. Boom! For security reasons, all prosecutors' doors are outfitted with locks. Which means it would have been hard for the murderer and the victim to get in here. Ergo, it's impossible to dismiss the location of this crime as mere coincidence. Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking, sir. There must be a reason why someone infiltrated my room. What was the killer after? There we go, the killer's goal. Why did this happen in my office? What was the killer after? Boosh. Into my logic, again. You're really on the ball today, Mr. Edgeworth. That's some beautiful logic, sir. Yes, well, when you follow leads to their conclusion, only the truth remains. However, if the information doesn't line up properly, I may stray far from the truth as well. But if I think carefully before piecing leads together, the logic should flow. Interesting. Well, let's get started with our investigation, shall we? Yes, sir. I love Dick Gumshoe. Begin investigation. The basis of any good investigation is to examine everything, sir. I know that. And when I want to examine something, I simply touch the examine button. If you ever feel lost and want to talk, just touch the partner button, okay? I'll give you great precise advice as an ace investigator, sir. Something to try later if I have free time, I suppose. Right, so I'm kind of trying to figure out how these will be mapped to a controller. So I'm guessing X is how I talk to the partner. Cool. You called, sir? Oh, notice anything? Is there anything you noticed that you'd like to share, Detective Gumshoe? Just that I rushed over here as soon as I heard there was a murder in your office, sir. The investigation's just gotten started, so I guess there's not much else to say. So, were you the one that found the body, Mr. Edgeworth? Unfortunately, upon my return I found my office door to be unlocked. And what awaited me inside was this whole messy affair. Oof. Oh, ouch. That's rough. Even though I left the security of this room to a certain detective... Sorry, sir. About investigating. I assume you understand how to conduct investigations, Detective Gumshoe. Of course, sir. Examine things by tapping them or touching the examine button. By checking various things out, we gather evidence and information. You can see the evidence we collected by touching the organizer button. For information and leads, it's the logic button. That's it. Great job, sir. Deductive, reasonable is the way to go. It's called deductive reasoning, Detective. Clearly something you lack. Okay, so... I can present stuff to people. Right, so I'm assuming examining, it's only when I'm over stuff, and it's the A button. Okay, perfect. What could we have here? Could this perhaps be the murder weapon? If so, it would mean that the killer made their escape after disposing of their gun here. Why would they do that? I think I've seen one of these before. Care to enlighten me as to where? Oh, I know. I was issued the exact same model. I think. Detective... I don't really like guns all that much. I mean, they're really dangerous. But now that I think about it, you do see this model around the precinct a lot, sir. I don't use mine much, except in emergencies, so that's why I didn't recognize it. So it's the same type of revolver as the ones used by this precinct's detectives. Right, so revolver, found at the crime scene. It's the same model as those used by precinct detectives. Whoosh! Alright. They finished photographing the body, so it should be alright to examine this area. Was he shot in the gut, or in the crotch? I'm honestly hoping it was the gut, because if it was shot in the crotch, that's awful. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. Oh, right, so I'm actually examining him. Okay. What about this little black book? What do we have here? Hey, I think I've seen one of these before. It's a police badge, Detective. Oh, hey, I have the exact same thing, actually. What a winky-dink. Let's take a look inside. Buddy Faith, Detective. Mr. Buddy Faith. It would appear that our victim was a detective just like you. According to his badge and ID, Buddy Faith was a precinct detective. Interesting. So, I seem to have gathered a few pieces of pertinent information. Now to calmly use some logic and figure out if any of them are connected to each other. It really wants me to do this now. Not the killer— oh, right, I see. I mean, if any of these mix, that's a really weird word to use. If any of these go together, it would be the victim was a detective and the revolver. Does it matter which order I do them in? So connect that with the revolver. Connect. Does it matter? Oh, it doesn't. Okay, cool. The revolver, the standard model used by detectives. Could it have belonged to our recently departed? Detective Gumshoe, could you please thoroughly check the victim's body one more time? Yes, sir. On it now, sir. Excuse me, pal. Let's see. What have we got here? Oh! Mr. Edgeworth, this guy's wearing a gun holster. So it appears that our killer somehow managed to take the victim's gun from him. Ah, so the victim's revolver data jotted down in my organizer. I like how it's jotted down in my organizer, not added to the court record. Are you going to be okay with keeping track of the evidence we find, sir? Of course. This is the safest way I know to keep track of it all. Alright, if you say so. I keep all the evidence I find either in or with my organizer. When I want to re-examine a piece, I have but to touch the organizer button. Yeah, I keep forgetting, this is case 1, so of course it's Tutorial City. But the organizer isn't only for evidence, I keep people's profiles on hand in it too. It's probably a good idea to make a habit of checking the facts often. Let's see what else we can find out about this revolver. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting you can actually examine stuff. As I always say, you've got to look really careful at each piece of evidence. You can use the scroll wheels to rotate an object, There's no such thing as a bad angle. Use the slide bar or the X and Y arrows to zoom in and out and get at the nitty-gritty. So if I did... Well, I'll switch screens so it's on the big screen. And if I press Y... Okay, so that works. Cool. And then that's with R? With R? Oh, right, I see. Okay. Okay. Whee! To think it's so easy to take a life with just the pull of a trigger. You know, I can't ever see myself really liking guns. Oh, but I love the ones they use at track and field meets to start races. If you take off before it's fired, everybody always ends up following your lead. To chase you down for a false start, detective. Now that you mention it, even when I finish first, I always wind up in last place. Oof. I don't actually think there's anything pertinent with this, in all fairness. Oh no, it's... I keep forgetting, X and Y are the opposite way, as they normally would be. Yeah, I honestly don't think there's anything else. Doesn't seem to be anything pertinent on this. How do I stop examining? Start. L, Y, not X, B, L, R. Oh no! I don't know how I'm gonna get out of this. Actually, wait, if I... Can I examine this? Oh ho! Wait. I don't really want it to... What if I zoom in? Oh, this is really awkward. Just doing it with a controller. I want to examine the barrel. Actually, that would be this. The chamber. Oh, right, I see. Looks like only one round was fired from this. Wow, so the killer killed the Vic with just one shot after wresting the gun from him. Sounds like the guy knew how to handle a gun, huh, Mr. Edgeworth? We have no proof for now, but that is a distinct possibility. Oh, right, that's how you end the examination. So it's because I had to find, like, pertinent information, it would appear. Huh. So if I go to my organizer... Only one shot fired. Wait, so if I actually checked something, how do I back out of this? Oh, you do just press the B button. Well, now I know. That's Profiles, Buddy Faith, and Detective Gumshoe. Yay! So that's his thing. There's blood there. Blood on his hand. Oh yeah, crap. I forgot to switch the screens back. Let's give the body a once-over. There's blood all over his lower abdominal area. Looks like the bullet passed clean through his stomach area, sir. In other words, he was shot. Yep. And until the autopsy's done, I don't think we'll know much more than that. Please have the body sent to the morgue once they're done processing the crime scene. So we got crime scene notes jotted down in the organizer. So what about all of these? All these little books. Your files are all over the floor, sir. They probably fell during the struggle between the victim and his killer. There we go. Oh, and I tried so hard to keep this place spotless while you were away. I mean, this just rendered all the time and effort I put in pointless. I don't recall ever asking you to clean my room. Well, I watered the flowers every day, just like you requested, sir. I just added cleaning to the list as a weekend special. For about half a day every Saturday, I'd come in and clean this place until it sparkled. Does he have a life? Hey, Gumshoe just wants to make you proud, Edgeworth. I guess this is about all we're going to find out. We should send the body to Art Gym. What the fuck? Why, oh why? How could this have happened to a guy like you? Okay. Are you alright? Don't touch me. Leave me alone. Just let me be. Sorry, but I can't do that. The investigation is still ongoing, so please refrain from touching the body. The body? The body? Don't talk about him like he's just some lump of flesh. Look at him. Jim looks like he's just turned in for the night. Sure. Just in a blood-stained suit, pal. Where are my manners? Aren't you that prosecutor? Why, yes I am! I'm Jacques Portsman, prosecutor. Jim here was my partner in crime, busting... partner in crime busting. Oh my god. Bum ba bum bum. I'm Miles Edgeworth, and like you, I am also a prosecutor. Detective Dick Gumshoe, sir. So you're Miles Edgeworth. I guess this is your office? Yes, that is correct. Then it was you! You're the one who killed Jim. Hey, don't go around jumping to conclusions, pal. Just calm down, okay? I will not. I know how things work around here. High prosecutor's office doors all have locks built into them. And only the owner of the office has the key to his or her own office door. That is correct. However, I was not the one who killed your partner. Yeah, Mr. Edgeworth has been overseas on a business trip this whole time, pal. And the key to the door was with me the entire time, okay? So the only one who could get in here was me. Oh, Gumshoe, you're an idiot. You're just kind of trying to implicate yourself. Wait, that means... I'm not sure what that means. So it was you then, you're Jim's killer. No way, pal, you got it all wrong. Everyone calm down. Mr. Portman, correct? Or Portsman, correct? If you are a real prosecutor, you should know to stay collected. The investigation has only just begun. Isn't it too early to be drawing conclusions? Yeah, you bloody noob. Alright, I get the point. You're right, my mistake. I tend to get a little too hot-headed sometimes. You sure are one cool customer though, Mr. Edgeworth. I've heard all the rumours about you. You're the great genius prosecutor. You're something of a legend, you know. Anyway, let's call a truce and work together, okay? Now, how about a handshake to seal the deal? Oh, he looks so happy. Look at his face. A pleasure to work with you. Although I don't trust this guy, considering he was shown at the beginning of the bloody episode, with a gun in his hand. You guys were conducting your investigation, right? Sorry for barging in like that. Carry on then. It's your room after all. You're just gonna stand there, really? Alright. Thank you, I intend to. I just want a little more time to say goodbye to Jim. You there, sir. What? I want you to capture this scene on film for me. My final farewell to my partner Jim. What? Oh, really? I should probably give them some space. Wait a minute. Can I actually examine this? I want to know if there's a callback. Oh, it's your trophy! The, Knight of Prosecutors, right? No, it's the King of Prosecutors. Close enough. King. King of Prosecutors. And it's not a trophy, it's a shield. They only send this to the winning prosecutor, right? Yes, but I have no real interest in the perceived worth of other people. As for my own worth, that is something only I can determine for myself. That's so slick, sir. I'm gonna have to try saying that sometime. Unfortunately for him, his monetary worth is tied directly to his worth to me. Wow, Edgeworth, you're a dick. Why does nobody like Gumshoe? He's such a great character. Is this yet another batch of fresh flowers? The ones that come with a card attached every month like clockwork for you? Yep. Speaking of that, let's see what's on the card this month, sir. These are from, what's-her-face, I think. Old Bag. I could be wrong. Wendy, yeah, all will be resolved. Wendy. Oh, Miss Irony, how painful are thy thorns. Wendy? Isn't that the name of that old lady with the whiny voice that stalks? That's enough, detective. You need not remind me further. Oh no. Yeah, she fell for Edgeworth hard. Hope we can solve this case quickly. I'd like to return to relaxing on the sofa. Oh, that's not what I wanted to examine, but whatever. That thing looks a billion times softer than my mattress at home. Can I sit on it too? Just for a little while, sir? Detective Gumshoe, you know I can't allow that. Until this case is solved, neither of us have time to spare, let alone rest. You're right, sir. I'm gonna work hard and be a real trooper to the end. Even once this case is over, I don't think you can afford to take any time off. Poor Gumshoe. Ah, your jacket, sir! What's it doing on the floor? It must have fallen off the wall when the killer tried to threaten me by firing around. So the killer not only shot the victim, but they shot your jacket as well? They dared to shoot the ultra-special jacket that you made your prosecutorial debut in? Oh, that is! I never actually realised until they mentioned it. Yeah, that's what he actually wore the first trial. It's one we actually got to see on Turnabout... Crap, I can't remember what it's called. Turnabout Memories? Turnabout Beginnings? The one where you play as Mia. Yeah, and it's with Terry Falls and all that. Case 4 of Trials and Tribulations. What if they had shot through it? It would have been a disaster. It's not worth getting worked up over, Detective. Not when there's something more here. Huh? Like what? I take it you haven't noticed it yet, Detective. There is a giant contradiction right here in front of us. Really? Oh, right. The gun we found only has one round shot, and that would have been 2 bullets, because one in the one in the jacket, one in the victim. Did I say contradiction? He must be rubbing off on me. I'm starting to sound like him. But I have my own methods, and I will conduct this investigation my way. When the scene before me contradicts a piece of evidence or seems off, that's when my deductive skills come into play. First, I have to find the spot that holds the contradiction. Okay, the bullet hole. This is it. This bullet hole is where the contradiction lies. When I spot something that's off, I should touch the deduce button with conviction. And when I have found sufficient proof to prove the contradiction, I present it. This is how I do things. Oh, we don't get to yell objection, though. The victim's revolver. Present. Eureka! This bullet hole is the contradiction. What do you mean, sir? It's elementary, dear Watson. 2 shots were fired in this room. One by the killer. The first felled the victim. And the second felled this frame. Hey, that's right. However, this gun was only fired once. That was the killer's gun, I would guess. Wait, which means the person that came in... or the person that threatened us was either they had a different gun, or it was someone else. Hey, that's true too. Which means that one of these 2 bullets was fired from a different gun. Did the killer have another gun prepared for tonight? By the way, I noticed something, sir. Yes? What's that thing sticking out from behind the frame? Ah, that. It's a secret safe. A secret safe? Oh, I smell money. I'll spare us the trouble and just say it. Nothing like what you're imagining is inside. Now, if you could kindly move this frame out of the way. Roger that. Talk about dusty. I suppose that's what happens when I'm not here to dust it once in a while. I had no idea there was a safe here. I'd have kept it clean for you, sir. So, when did you put this thing in? It wasn't something I had installed personally. Every prosecutor's office has one. Really? I had no idea. Well, only prosecutors are supposed to have knowledge of their existence. So, what's inside, Mr. Edgeworth? Right now, nothing. We only use them to store especially important evidence when a trial is in session. I had a feeling it was for evidence. That's it. Talk about squashing my hopes and dreams. Secret safe data jotted down in my organizer. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious looking nook and cranny. I mean, the only thing that looks suspicious is this. Like, if this is supposed to look like it's dusty, this looks like it's been wiped. Yeah, it's got like the scuff mark from like a cloth or glove or something. Now this is odd. You found something, sir. This keypad. Don't you find it to be a bit too clean? Yeah, there's a thick layer of dust all around it, but not on the keypad itself. You there, the forensic scientist. Yes, sir. Could you please dust this area for fingerprints? You got it, sir. Man, we're able to just bark people around, give them orders. I couldn't find, let alone lift a single print. Looks like it was wiped down well. So wiped fingerprints. All the fingerprints on this have been wiped clean off. So secret safe, data updated in my organizer. Okay. As I thought. It appears that logic is the only way around this setback. Time to rationally and calmly connect the dots with the information I have. Or we have. Alright, logic time. So, oh man, we have a lot of stuff. So, The killer's goal, wiped fingerprints, another gun. Why did this happen in my office? What was the killer after? The safe? I'll go with this killer. I pressed B. Fuck. It's because I'm using an Xbox controller, so B is... Like, B on the controller is A on the controller is B, X on the controller is Y, and Y on the controller is, X. Right, so, try this again. The killer's goal, and the wiped fingerprints. Oh yeah, I never actually read that. Other than the victim's gun that I found, could there be another gun in play here? I believe I figured out what the murderer was after. Well, what is it, sir? The fact that the safe was wiped clean of fingerprints suggests that the criminal had at least attempted to open my safe, making the culprit's motive for breaking and entering theft, I believe. I wonder if knowing that the motive behind this break-in was theft changes what the other pieces of information can tell me about this crime. So I got a new piece of logic. Signs of a struggle and theft. Signs of struggle, okay. The culprit tried to open my safe. Was the killer's motive theft? Ooh, it could be these two. If what's-his-face walked in, or like noticed something was up and walked into the office, while someone was trying to steal, there would have been a struggle. Surely. But if he had a gun, couldn't he have just held them up? Right. I can try that. Boom. And a boom. I keep forgetting I have to press A, and then Y. There is a possibility that the files splayed on the floor are not the result of a struggle between the victim and his killer. Oh, you mean like it could be from when the killer tried to find something, sir? Precisely. We need to figure out if any of the files have been stolen. Yes, sir. I'm gonna shelve files like you've never seen before, even at a library. Sure. Let's give that a try. Okay, so now we move. Why do all the good ones always die young? Surely you must ponder that every once in a while, Mr. Edgeworth. No matter how much we lament, the dead will not come back to life. All we can do is search for the truth. And, so what are we supposed to do? How do we go about finding the truth? First, we calmly restore the files to their rightful place. You got it. Here, let me help. So this file goes here, and that book goes there. You sure know a lot about where things go, despite it being Mr. Edgeworth's office. Because I'm the one who keeps it tidy, pal. Okay, done. Oh man. It would appear... Wait. It would appear that the murder was definitely committed here. The bloodstains on the bookshelf are still fresh. I suspect that the victim was killed in a standing position, hence the prints on the shelf. And then the guy fell onto the floor, right? The blood on the floor is kinda grossing me out. Detective, I don't have the time to deal with your weak stomach right now. But you know I'm not good with blood, sir. I'm certain there's something wrong with this picture. There is. I can see a book that's got a bullet in it. Which would make no sense, because it's on the bottom shelf. And also this blood on them. How would it get blood on them if they're on the bottom shelf? So this is where the bullet lodged itself after it went through the victim, huh? For the bullet to be lodged so squarely in a file spine indicates that the files were ransacked after the shooting had occurred. And I guess the victim was moved because he was in the killer's way. So what else does this say? I put them all back just as they should be, sir. Doesn't look like anything's missing. Although it does look like the killer moved the body to flip through my shelves. I wonder if they found what they were looking for. I'm assuming I could deduce from this. Is this spot somehow connected to any of the evidence I hold? Yes, I think. Yeah, the bullet went through the victim's abdomen, which would be where his handprints are, which is the third shelf up, not the bottom shelf. I'm assuming. Eureka! There is clearly a contradiction here with this bullet hole. What do you mean, sir? You don't see? Quite simple. Or quite simply, the bullet hole itself is too low. If the victim was shot in the stomach, the hole should be much higher up. But what if the guy was shot while he was sitting or lying down, sir? That would be illogical. The victim leaned against this shelf here after being shot, which suggests that he was standing when he was shot. Then that means... Wait, what does that mean, sir? It means you need to use your brain every once in a while instead of mine, detective. In any case, it means that someone made a faulty assumption. And it was from this mistake that our current contradiction was born. Wait, what's this? Wait, so what is the faulty assumption that caused this problem with the bullet hole's position? The order of the files. Duh, they're meant to be 3 shelves up. I believe the order of the files is a bit off. You mean I put them back in the wrong order just now? Hey, actually... Ah! I think the labels on the files are wrong, sir. Oh? Yeah, you see here how the files that were shot begin with the number O? Number 0, even. What are those doing all the way down there after 1, 2, and 3? That's really weird. Actually, the way they are organised now is the correct order. They are exactly as I see them in my mind's eye. But the numbers are all out of order. Those white binders are special, so they are arranged a little differently. But from this, we know that the files were not in this order when the crime occurred. So that's it. I believe the killer made the same incorrect assumption as you just did, detective. Let's rearrange the files in numerical order and see what we find out. Ah. Do you think it'd be okay to prop the body back up to how it was before it was moved? They finished processing the crime scene, so I don't see why it wouldn't be. If you please, Detective Gumshoe. As I suspected, the bullet hole is now where it should logically be. The killer went through my files first before shooting Mr. Faith. And then put the files back in numerical order, I guess. Exactly, and then proceeded to shoot the victim. But why would someone kill a man and then look through your files one more time? Puzzling indeed. The files were thrown into disarray twice, once before and once after the crime. But why? So files in disarray, the culprit rearranged my files twice, once before and once after the murder. Why? Huh. Now the crime scene is as it was at the time of the murder. Time to give it another look. As I suspected, the bullet hole is now where it should logically be. And we figured out that the killer went through your bookshelf twice. Indeed, there are many things the killer did that don't make sense. But to figure out the whys, we need more information. Oh, hang on. Hold the phone. I never even noticed this before, because his body was covering them up. This... What? They tried to implicate Gumshoe? Really? What is that? Why does it say Gumshoe on there in blood? I'd say it's some incredibly incriminating evidence. Yes, indicative of criminal activity indeed. No, wait, there's got to be some mistake. Mr. Edgeworth, sir, help me. Say something, sir. It appears that one of my files was stolen. Is that all, sir? What about me and my situation? Is this what the killer was really after? A stolen file. Investigation completed! Nice! Looks like Jim was able to leave us the name of his killer in the end. And this most important message managed to find us, or reach us. I'm telling you, it wasn't me. You can't be terribly pleased to hear that your beloved partner is the guilty party. If you are going to accuse Detective Gumshoe of being the culprit, I sincerely hope you have some proof to back it up. Jim's words, they're more than enough, wouldn't you say? If that's how you want to play it, then at least allow me to understand your reasoning. You got it. Oh, right, yeah, now we get into the confrontations. This game's incredible. To be fair, I think I could say that about every Ace Attorney game and be correct. They're all great games. I don't like this one bit. There's something strange about this man's attitude. And there must be some sort of flaw to his logic waiting for me to dig out. Mr. Edgeworth, what are you going to do? What I always do in court. I'm going to cross-examine him. One way or another, I'll expose the flaw in his logic with this technique. Ooh, how do you do that? Can you explain it to me, sir? Okay, this is basically, do you want to go over this? Might as well. Bum 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 bum. Alright, first, I listen to the witness's testimony. If I find a flaw in the testimony, something that contradicts the evidence, I open the organizer and present the piece of contradictory evidence. To present something, I simply touch the present button, but that's old news. But it's not like there's going to be a flaw in their testimony every time, right? Correct, and at those times I need to press the witness by touching the press button. Sometimes by pressing, I can draw out new information, and new or modified testimony. I think I get it, sir. I'll be sure to try this technique out during investigations too. Very well, I'll even show you how it's done. Now watch carefully. Mr. Pottsman's logic. Detective Gumshoe, you stole Jim's gun from him and shot him dead. Further, you messed up the files to make it look like you had committed theft instead. That's when you moved Jim's body that was sitting in front of the bookshelf. But thanks to that, you didn't notice the bloody letters his body was hiding. And it will be by his final words that you will be brought to justice. Okay. Boom. Boom. You intend to argue that the victim's dying message points to his killer? I can hear Jim's voice, and he's calling for his killer's arrest. Are you sure you're not mishearing his words, Mr. Pottsman? There's no way Detective Gumshoe is the culprit here. I will find the flaw in this man's logic, and expose it with credible evidence. So, is there any penalty for... No, is there any penalty for just pressing everything? I wonder. Sure. Wait, so what happens if I do press? Hold it. Aw, I was hoping it would work. Hold it, you fuck. That was too fun. Oh god. I don't know why I enjoyed that so much, but I did. Just because I didn't just say hold it, you fuck. And that worked. You know, there's something I've been meaning to ask. What is it? Why do you call the victim Jim? When clearly his name is Buddy Faith. Isn't it obvious? Jim is the perfect name for my companion. Oh, Jacques and Jim. Don't those two names go together like peanut butter and jam? But Jim isn't even close to the guy's real name. Well, Jacques and Buddy just sounds off somehow. Besides, he was the third of a bunch of guys I decided to nickname Jim. He talks about the victim like he was his pet. I want to try this again. Hold it! Hold it! Okay, don't. I'll just press the button instead. Do you really think it was necessary to dishevel my shelves twice to do that? That's true. Okay, then maybe his real intent was theft. Hey, are you accusing me of stealing something from Mr. Edgeworth? It's a possibility. Maybe your salary's been cut so much that life is getting a little too rough to handle. I'll have you know that I eat 3 square meals every day, pal. Okay, so all 3 of them happen to be instant noodles, but... Poor thing, what an evil prosecutor you were paired up with. And what a motive, no? Okay. Hold it! And why would Detective Gumshoe do such a thing? Because the body was getting in his way. He had to mess up your bookshelf somehow, right? Anyway. But thanks to that, you didn't notice the bloody letters his body was hiding. Sorry, but I'm stopping you right there and saying, what the hell? How do you explain this? Wait. Oh my god, I can object! Objection! Aww. I love when it works. Objection! Yes! I was gonna say objection, fucker. Perhaps you're not aware, Mr. Pottsman, but there is a serious flaw in your logic. I'm having way too much fun with this game already. All because I could say, hold it, you fuck, and it worked, and also, objection, fucker. But I didn't get to say fucker. So, you know. Bringing a bit of the courtroom into this, I see. No problem, I'm game. I can't help but find it odd. Excuse me? Odd that a fellow prosecutor would be brought down by the power of his own office. What are you talking about? Oh, you're joking. I get it. Haha. If you have the time to laugh, then you have the time to take another closer look at this. Do you still not see? If not, may I direct your attention to the missing file? What? That's impossible. What's impossible, Mr. Pottsman? Nothing. The files on that shelf are all about a certain case. When the killer went to take the file after murdering your partner, I highly doubt they could have missed the bloody letters written on the spines. Oh god, he sounded weird. Objection! It's possible that they could have taken the file before committing the murder. I think it's pretty obvious that the file was stolen after it was written on. The missing letters in the detective's name, where the file should be, is proof. Yeah, I mean, the S is gone, and there's only half an H. If Detective Gumshoe really was the culprit of this case, I highly doubt that even he could overlook his own name written in blood on the files. Especially as a detective who can't stand the sight of blood. No! I love that. Over the top. Which means, what exactly? What does that make what does that make this dying message? It makes it the work of a criminal intent on tampering with the crime scene. That's so low. I can't believe the criminal tried to pin this whole thing on me, sir. I'm gonna get him, sir. You'll see. I'm gonna arrest them. Oh, I'm gonna have them under arrest in no time. Well, Mr. Pottsman? Brilliant! Absolutely splendid. Logic deserving of Olympic gold. I appreciate the praise, but it doesn't change the fact that your reasoning is flawed. You douche. Meh, you win some, you lose some. That's how life goes. Glad everyone's so cheery, even though I feel more dead than alive. But you know, it really is a shame. I really didn't want to have to bring this up, however. What? What is it this time? Are you still after me, pal? Humour me for a second. Who has the key to this office? That would be me. But Mr. Edgeworth just proved that I'm innocent, pal. Whoa. Where'd you get the coat from? That's absolutely right, and I acknowledge your innocence. Then why do I sense that you still have something to say? What the fuck? Well, I was thinking. Did you know there is one other person with a key to this office? One other person? Ah, it's the coat he's carrying on his back. I didn't even notice it. But for some reason I thought it was a towel. Hey, you there. Yes, sir, what is it, sir? Would you kindly fetch and escort that lovely young lady here for me? A lady? The girl is a member of this building's security. Think of her as a material witness. Security? Did you say security? No, stop it, pal. Don't. Oh god. What's wrong with him all of a sudden? Who is it? I believe she needs no introduction. I have called upon Miss Maggie Bird, a member of security. Again? How many crimes has she been, like, part of now? 3? Oh no! I mean, she looks pretty good. She's got a nice new look going. Detective Gumshoe, sir. Maggie. Miss Bird is a security guard on watch tonight. I see. And your point is? My point is that she could very well have used it. And by it, I mean the master key, which can open all the office doors in this building. What? If you're not the guilty party, Detective Gumshoe, then the only other person with access to this room is Miss Bird. How dare you? I would never sneak into someone's room. That's right, I refuse to believe that Maggie is the culprit, pal. It was me, that's right, I did it. Really? Can we take that as a confession, Detective? Well, it wasn't really me, but it definitely wasn't Maggie, pal. So yeah, it wasn't me. If it was, you'd have no problems with that, right? Please refrain from flying off the handle, Detective. There's no need for such theatrics. God damn it, him and his bloody coat. Listen to your boss, detective. He understands what I'm saying here. That girl is the only one who could have committed the crime, and for one simple reason. Oh right, we're doing another one of these. Reason for suspicion. His argument. Oh, as opposed to testimony. I never even realised. It's pretty obvious that Miss Bird snuck into your room and using the master key. I mean, if Detective Gumshoe isn't the one who opened the door, then that leaves only Miss Bird as our prime suspect. On top of which, she knows our good detective, doesn't she? Making it all that more probable that she was the one who faked the dying message. So you're saying she used the master key? Okay, we got a master key. Incredibly incriminating evidence, wouldn't you say? That's what you claimed about the evidence earlier as well. That was then, and this is now. The flow of a good match always changes during a rally. It's all about your reflexes and reaction time, especially, oh god, for an athlete like me. I wonder if there was anyone else other than Miss Bird who could have used the master key. It seems that the only way to get Mr. Portsman to give me more details is to press him. Okay. Time for the rebuttal. Reason for suspicion. Whoosh. How is it obvious? Are you sure Miss Bird is the only member of security who could have used the master key? There's only one person on staff at this time of night, and tonight she's it. Isn't that right, Miss Bird? That's, true, but I wasn't able to use the master key at the time of the crime, sir. Wasn't able to? What's that supposed to mean? Yes, moving on. I'd hate to get sidetracked by something unrelated. What do you mean, unrelated? I want to hear what she has to say, pal. But you can't really trust her not to tell lies, plus I hate wasting time. Should I hear Miss Bird out? Ask for more details. Hell yeah. Not so fast. I too am interested in hearing what Miss Bird has to say. Didn't I just say it'd be a waste of time? We don't need to hear her lies. I'll be the judge of that. Miss Bird, if you please. I discovered that the master key was missing at around 1 AM, sir. What do you mean by missing? As in, it wasn't anywhere in the security booth, sir. The killer must have stolen it. Mr. Pottsman, I believe this to be an important piece of testimony, don't you? I can't believe that someone like you would be taken in by such words. I'm not lying, sir. If that's the case, then I'd like to know why you have the master key now. I don't quite know, it just reappeared all of a sudden, sir. A likely story. And where is your proof that the key was stolen to begin with? I bet you just forgot where you put it and then found it again. I never lose things, I can practically guarantee that. With me, if something disappears, it's usually because someone stole it. Yeah, pal, trust me, you don't want to test just how bad her luck is. Unfortunately, I can't deem this piece of testimony as conclusive. Glad you agree, Mr. Edgeworth. Ugh, but... You still haven't established Maggie's motive for breaking into Mr. Edgeworth's office. Her motive? Didn't we already establish that it was theft? I mean, the culprit clearly went through the bookshelves and at least tried the safe. It is as Mr. Pottsman says, Detective. I can't ignore the fact that all the evidence points towards a motive of theft. But I'm done taking blows. It's time to counterattack with a few facts of my own. So her intent... From the messed up shelves... Wait, to the wiped down safe, I'd say thievery. Okay. So that's his new thing. That wouldn't be the case, though. As we said with Detective. Oh, with Gumshoe, not Detective. There, that's it. Each prosecutor has one in their office, only they know of them. Prints were wiped. God, he constantly does that. Objection! Ah, it worked! Never mind. Woohoo! Oh, I love it. Do you wish to continue insisting that Miss Bird was set on stealing something? Why not? It's the truth, after all. It was also by your logic that we came to the whole thievery conclusion anyway. That may be, but you must also be aware of the fact that the safe is a secret safe. The existence of which is only privy to prosecutors. Ah! I find it a little hard to believe that a hidden safe was part of her cunning plan. But But she could have found it by accident while she was turning everything else upside down. I highly doubt that. I'd say the culprit knew exactly what they were looking for. After all, only the bookshelf and the safe were targeted. Oh, he's biting on his middle now. Ooh, yeah. Even I didn't know about that safe, pal. And that means there's no way Maggie could have known about it either. Then are you proposing that the killer is a prosecutor? Interesting conclusion. That's definitely looking more and more probable. What's wrong, prosecutor? Do you have a different suspect in mind now? Curses! Why? What made you... What's with the angry face all of a sudden? It's all my fault. What do you mean? It's Jim. He knew about the existence of the secret safes. What did you just say? We were partners, like inseparable conjoined twins. That's why I told him. I filled him in on the secret safes. Or safes. Then that means... Yeah, I know. I'd only just told him too. Obviously it was wrong of me to tell him. I still can't quite believe it. But the thief who broke into your room was probably Jim. Now he's claiming that the victim was the thief. And you were simply trying to stop him, weren't you? Miss Maggie Bird? Excuse me? He's trying to implicate her now? Oh my god. I mean, you are a security guard, right? That's your job. But killing is going a bit too far, even in your risky profession. What the? You're still accusing Maggie of the murder? Yes and no. I mean, she had stumbled upon Jim, who'd probably drawn his gun. I get it. It was self-defense, wasn't it? No, I couldn't. I could never do something like that. Not even as a security guard, sir. Plus, even if he was the thief, he wouldn't have a key to this office. Which is precisely why he had to steal it, wouldn't you say? Oh dear. It was Jim who stole the master key. Pretty impossible for a supposedly stolen key to be here with us unless... Well, unless you retrieved it from Jim after you killed him. Mr. Pottsman, are you honestly accusing your own partner of being a thief? I don't want to admit it, but it's the only way for everything else to make sense. He has no honor. Now then, I think we're done here. The investigation waits for no man. Would you people be so kind as to see yourselves out? Wait, this is my office. Yeah, I was gonna say, you can't kick us out. This is Mr. Edgeworth's office. But I'm the one who's been assigned to this case. You are all suspects to varying degrees and therefore ineligible to run this show. Listen, pal, how many times do I have to say this? Maggie can't be the culprit. Detective Gumshoe, calm yourself. But sir, we have no choice but to accommodate his request. For now. Thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. At least one of you understands. Now then, if you could remove yourselves from my crime scene, I'd be most grateful. Mark my words, Mr. Pottsman, we will meet again. If that's a formal request from the legendary prosecutor himself, then I suppose so. Ah, my elbow. Now don't disappoint me, you hear? Okay. To be continued. Woo! Save time! Nice! That took fucking... Whoa, that took an hour. Jesus. Alright, cool. Go! I'm gonna say please save. What? Saving. Saving. That takes ages. Holy crap. What the fuck? Okay, I'm not entirely sure what the hell that was. That was weird. Right, so March 14th, 4:18 AM. Prosecutor's Building, 12th floor hallway. What is with that prosecutor? I can't believe how rude he was. It was unbelievable. Please maintain your professionalism, detective. I'm gonna find some real solid evidence proving Maggie's innocence. You'll see, sir. Well, we've been kicked out of the crime scene, sir. Why is my, CPU so high? It's at 77 and I don't even know how. Really? Oh, this thing can fuck off then. Oh god. It's because I'm just closing stuff. There we go. God, that was weird. No, I just noticed CPU was a bit too high. True. So then, what now? Looks like my life's fallen into yet another gigantic ditch. Do not despair, Miss Bird. We can overcome this as well. there are many other places. Many other places and things we should be looking into anyway. Yeah, really, sir? For example, this hallway. The linchpin of his argument against Miss Bird is related to the master key. In that case, this hallway is the perfect place to look for more information. Regarding the mystery surrounding my door. Oh, another investigation. Okay, so first and foremost. Whoosh. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious looking nook and cranny. Yeah, there's a book. I could see that from the other view. It's... Isn't that the missing Zero Series file, sir? No doubt about it. The bloody letters mark it clear as day. There seem to be a few pages missing. Our thief took only what was necessary and left the rest behind. So what are these Zero files about, sir? I guess they've got something worth stealing in them, huh? Not particularly. It's just a collection of court case files. However, the cases within these files are not mine. Huh? They belong to the High Prosecutor that used to occupy my current office. I have my reasons, but let's just say I was charged with keeping them as they were. And that means the thief must have also wanted the file for a specific reason, right? It would seem so. Only the pages related to that case from 10 years ago are missing. I wonder why anyone would care about such an old case. Right, so there's that. Maggie! I was wondering if I may speak with you for a bit concerning this case. I've always been a big fan of the courtroom, but this is like a dream. A dream where I'm being cross-examined by the Miles Edgeworth. I can't let this chance pass me by. I must remember to ask her about the master key. I should jog her memory by showing my notes to her through the present button. So, the victim? Have you ever met the victim before? Well, I've seen him a couple of times before when I had to go to Mr. Pottsman's office. Mr. Faith was always playing basketball with Mr. Pottsman, sir. That sounds like fun. Just once, I'd have loved to play with him. Sounds fun, but the only person ever taking a shot was Mr. Pottsman. All Mr. Faith ever did was pass him the ball, sir. On second thought, I don't think I'd have fit in all that well with them. Right, so Maggie Bird. Miss Maggie Bird, correct? I take it that you are an acquaintance of the detective? She was under my supervision back when she was still on the force, sir. One day she got caught up in a murder and things started going downhill, so she quit. But I owe a lot to Detective Gumshoe for introducing me to my current employer. Or so I thought until a few hours ago. Right before I was about to clock out for the night. You got caught up in this whirlwind of a case, correct? Don't worry, my whole life has been nothing but a whirlwind of bad luck and failures. Since I was 6 months old. When I fell from the 9th floor of my apartment building. I've been hit by all sorts of vehicles, gotten sick from all sorts of foods, failed at almost every test I've taken, experienced almost every kind of disaster, and now I even managed to be named a criminal, just when I've become a security guard. Bloody hell. That's a lot to go through in one lifetime. I know, and just when I thought I had finally found my happiness, I wound up getting you and Detective Gumshoe involved in my bad luck. You don't need to worry about me, Miss Bird, nor do you need to worry about yourself. I will solve this case and prove your innocence. All I ask in return is your cooperation. Yes, Mr. Edgeworth. Oh, yes, sir, Mr. Edgeworth. You can count on me. It's all I can do to help. Nice. Oh, wait, yeah. I forgot. Present. It's in a different place, completely. The master key! So when did you discover that the master key was missing? By the time I realised it, I think it was around 1 AM, sir. And I noticed it was back at around 2:30 AM. It was just sitting there on the ledge where the security room's reception window is. But I'm sure that between those two times it was not just gone, but stolen, sir. This key was missing from approximately 1 AM until 2:30 AM. More logic. Why is such an important key stored in such an insecure place? It's not like that, sir. We always keep the key further inside the room, away from the window. Always, you say, except for this time, correct? Well, I admit that it was a bit careless, but I had my reasons. I left it out because I was sort of using it at the time. It was after I had used it that I left it sitting out on the ledge. She used the master key. Wait, so I could talk to her about that, I'm guessing? Used the master key. What did you mean by you used the master key? Oh, I had to use it to open the door for this prosecutor who had forgotten his key. What? I mean, it's my job as a security guard, right? Ah! What is it? That's right, I just remembered. The prosecutor who forgot his key. It was Mr. Portsman, sir. What? Please tell me more, Miss Bird. Quickly. Oh, shit. Forgetful Mr. Portsman. It was around 12 AM. Mr. Portsman had forgotten his office key, so he came down to security, sir. And that's when you loaned the master key to him? No way. It's against regulations to loan the master key out to anyone. I walked with Mr. Portsman to his office and opened the door for him personally, sir. I see. And then, what happened after that? Well, he called for me to come close up his office as he was leaving to go home. That was around 1:30 AM, I think. So in summary, for the sake of one forgetful prosecutor, you used the master key twice tonight. Talk about suspicious. I doubt you can say that you've never left your keys at home, Detective. I think this calls for a thorough examination of Mr. Portsman's door. Or Mr. Portsman's door. Before I do that, it's time for logic. Oh god, not that. Yeah, master key was stolen, and used the master key. So... are they related? Aha! Miss Bird, I'm afraid there's a flaw in your story. What? No way, pal. I mean, sir. You said that you locked up Mr. Pottsman's office at around 1:30 AM, correct? However, the master key had already been stolen at that time. Wow, nothing gets by you, Mr. Edgeworth. You saw that contradiction like a pro. I totally forgot all about that, but thanks to you, I remember it now. You're right, it was around that very time that I realised the master key was missing. And? Well, I'm a security guard, sir. I couldn't just admit to losing the master key, could I? So I pretended to lock up his room, sir. You pretended? Yeah, I used my house key and made it look like I was locking up, sir. So in actuality, you never did relock the door then? Well, I thought that maybe I could go lock it after I found the key. Come to think of it, I guess the door still hasn't been locked properly. Ah. So Mr. Portsman's office, discovered in the hallway of the prosecutor's building. Where did I find this door? It's just a really weird wording. Where did I discover his door again? Oh yes, in the hallway, of course. What is a basketball doing here? That's Mr. Portsman's prized possession, sir. I heard he also plays soccer, dodgeball, and even tennis. And not a single one of those sports is suitable to be played in a hallway. Hey, look who it is! It's Payne! Looks like you're in quite the pinch, Mr. Edgeworth. To be sure, a murder within the walls of the prosecutor's office is no trifling matter. We must find, apprehend, and punish the killer accordingly, post-haste. Sounds like a messy case you've got on your hands. If you ever feel lost or need some advice, my door is always open. How gracious, I will keep your offer in mind. Who is this guy again? It's Payne, of course, the rookie killer. How could you forget? Is everything alright? Yes, sir. If you must know, I weighed myself this morning, and I'm finally at 154 pounds. Congratulations! But I was asking about this hallway and this room. Oh, everything's okay, sir. A word of advice, stay focused on stay focused or you may start to lose even more weight. Okay. And the basketball hoop? What is the basketball hoop doing here? Hey, didn't this used to be just outside next to the building a long time ago? So when and why was it moved indoors? I don't remember exactly, but I saw one of the officers drag it up here recently. Drag it? I heard that it wouldn't fit in the elevator, so the poor guy had to bring it himself. And all the way up to the 12th floor. Wow, torture. Oh wait, no, that's just the same stuff. Drag it? What? So I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious looking nook and cranny. The lock? The door is locked tight. I bet the old credit card trick wouldn't work here, huh, Mr. Edgeworth? This is the office of a high prosecutor, Detective. These doors would be pretty ineffective if the average cat burglar could get through them. So I guess only a great cat burglar could get in. That must be who our culprit is. Might I advise you to return that conclusion to whatever pawn shop you bought it from. Okay, so there's that. Room 1203. I take it that this is Mr. Pottsman's office? Yeah, you can't mistake it because of that basketball hoop, sir. Oh, that reminds me, Mr. Pottsman had actually wanted room 1202 really badly. But since you were already occupying it, Mr. Edgeworth, we put him next door, sir. So why was Mr. Pottsman so particular about getting room 1202? I'm not sure, but I bet it's because of something like his birthday is December 2nd. Yeah, that's gotta be it. I can't think of another reason why. I can think of at least 3. Bah, why am I even wasting my time thinking about this? Wait, actually... The door's locked. Oh! Wow, that didn't even click. No, Maggie said it would still be unlocked, but it can't be. It should be unlocked, because she couldn't lock it. Crap. Was it this? No. It was his office. Miss Bird unlocked the door, but Master Key was stolen, so she could not lock it up. Whoosh! Eureka! There's a contradiction here between reality and the evidence. If what Miss Bird has said is true, then why is this door locked tight? Huh? You know you're right. Miss Bird, are you sure you didn't relock this door? I'm certain of it, sir. And I don't think Mr. Pottsman noticed it himself, that I hadn't. Which means... what, sir? It either means that he actually does have the key to his office, or that the door Miss Bird opened wasn't this one at all, but a completely different one. She opened a different door, but how can you prove that? There's an easy way to find out. All we need to do is... we need to examine these. Prints on the doorknob. Master Key prints on the number plate? No, the doorknob. The prints on the doorknob will tell us everything. Yeah, because they would be Maggie's if she was the person to lock it. Hey you, yeah you pal. Do us a favour and see what you can lift from this, okay? So what did you find out? There's no need for such belligerent nostril flaring, Detective. So I found only Mr. Pottsman's and Mr. Faith's prints on this doorknob. So only 2 people's prints were found on this, huh? That's pretty decisive. Huh? I'm lost there. Thinking logically, a certain other person's prints should be on this knob as well. Now then, whose prints should also be on this doorknob? Maggie Birds! Pick that! Don't you find it odd that the prints of the person who unlocked this door are absent? You mean... yes, the door that Miss Bird opened could not have been this one, but a different one. Ah! Ooh! What have we here? Huh? There's a note! I won't rest until... I like how it says that every time. It's not even the note that I want to look at. What is that? That looks like a dust thing. Or like one of those... I don't know what the hell you'd call it, but an imprint in a carpet when you move something that's been sat there for a long time, so like a table. You'd have like the table leg imprinted in a carpet. Usually it's quite a good indicator for when you get it back in place if you ever move it and then want to move it back. It's quite good. Quite good. What's this? What are you looking at, sir? Oh hey, what about... how about a game? That's okay, Detective. I just found this... the position of this hoop to be a little off. Hey, you're right, sir. I guess it shifted when someone made a seriously sweet slam dunk. The positioning of the hoop is definitely unnatural. I better take note of this. Interesting. Right, and then the note, of course. Examine thy note. What is this? Looks like a scrap of paper. I'll get it, sir. Let's see. Oh, there's something written on it. I brought the 3 pieces of evidence by, just like we talked about on the phone. But it looks like you're out. Guess I'll catch up to you later, buddy. Looks like a note from the victim. Yeah, and it's for Mr. Pottsman. Note left by the victim, data jotted down in my organizer. Okay. Is that everything? The only other thing there is the ball. I think that's everything. So, what else is there? Is there more? It never hurts to take another look. Is there anything else? The door is locked tight. No, that's not any different. Cat burglar. Oh, hang on. What if I go back to Edgeworth's door? And examine that doorknob? I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious looking nook and cranny. Yeah, here we go. Don't see any signs of forced entry. And according to the guard, no signs that the lock was picked either, sir. Meaning that the door really was opened with a key. Did you happen to ask if any prints were lifted from the doorknob? Apparently the doorknob's clean as a whistle. Wiped, they think. Whoever this thief is, they did a good job of not leaving any clues behind. Interesting. Oh, there we go, we did it! Woo! Da-da-da-da! Poking around in this hallway has actually paid off quite handsomely. Handsomely? Huh? How so, sir? In a variety of different ways. I think it's time we had a little chat. With the real culprit of this case. You know who the killer is? Wow, Mr. Edgeworth. As long as my logic is sound, then yes. The mastermind behind this murder is none other than Mr. Pottsman. What? Mr. Pottsman? I knew it. That's exactly what my logic senses were telling me too. I suspected it was him from the instant he accused Maggie of being the killer, sir. That is anything but logical. Ladies and gentlemen, prepare yourselves. Come what may, it's time to knock on truth's door. My god, it's 5 AM. Mr. Pottsman, I finished processing the bloodletter, sir. Alright, let me take a gander at it. Pass it here. Oh! Okay, looking good. You there, take care of this. I'll take good care of this. Haha. Well, if it isn't Detective Gumshoe. End of the line for you, Pottsman. We got you now. Call off your dog, Mr. Edgeworth. Is this some kind of joke? It's no joke. We know, Mr. Jack Pottsman, that you are the guilty party in this case. Huh? You must be pretty upset getting chased out of your own room. I'd be mad too. So I guess you can stay... You can stay if you promise to stay out of our way. You intend to hide your crime under the guise of a prosecutor doing his job? I can see right through the unsightly paper-thin mask you wear upon your cowl. Who'd have ever thought it would come to this? Actually, come to think of it, your mentor was Manfred von Karma, right? The legendary prosecutor who never lost a single case for 40 long years. But there was always this incessant chatter about forged evidence with that guy. Really teaches me that I've got to stay on the lookout for false accusations, you know? You done trying to play mind games with me because they won't work. The only thing you should be using that mouth of yours for now is explaining yourself. Although that too will only dig your hole deeper. Either way, your game is up. Well, aren't we full of ourselves, even though you have yet to prove anything? Oh! Right, oh, okay. Okay, so it changes between argument and testimony. Cool. Right, so Mr. Pottsman's rebuttal. I have no idea what sort of harebrained idea you have in mind, but... there's a mountain of evidence that points away from me being the culprit. Besides, how, may I ask, do you propose I unlocked your door and got in here? Look, I feel bad doing this to you, but I've got work to do, so we're done here. We'll see, buddy. Pardon me. Sorry, but we are not finished here yet. Not finished yet. God, I'm just adding words. Boy, you're stubborn. I suppose you're basing your accusations on something? I'll show you what I'm basing my accusations on. With evidence. Yeah. Right, here's rebuttal. Let's destroy it. Absolutely, positively. Hold it! My accusation is a harebrained idea, is it? You tell me. I'd say it is, after all. There's a mountain of evidence that points away from me being the culprit. I concur. Oh, and what, pray tell, kind of evidence are we talking about here? Jim was my partner, so you can't say I had a motive for killing him. And, that's it, that's not even an anthill, let alone a mountain. But it's more than enough, wouldn't you agree? Might I recommend that you review what the word evidence means. It doesn't change the fact that the evidence doesn't point to me as the killer. Besides, how, may I ask, do you propose I unlocked your door and got in here? Well... Unfortunately, I believe I have already shown you earlier, or shown how earlier. Your speculations mean nothing as I still insist that I could not gain access to your room. What should I do now? Should I raise an objection? Hell yeah. You claim to have had no way to open my door, however, is that really the honest truth? Alright, I'll humour you. Go ahead, shoot. Very well then. I propose that you used this to open my door. Ah, the master key. Boink! Take that! I believe you were able to open my office door with the master key, no less. Objection! Wait, hold on for a sec. I never laid a finger on that key, as you already know. Precisely. You were able to open my door without lifting a single finger. Well, maybe you did. But only too direct. That's right, you used your finger to direct this person to open my door with the key. Oh! You would ask Miss Bird to open your own office door for you, yes? Yeah. I kinda forgot my key at home. Happens a bit too often for my taste, you know? But the room you had Miss Bird open at that time was not your own, was it? What? You have quite the imagination. But why don't we ask the girl herself whose door she opened, shall we? I'm certain that it was Mr. Pottsman's door, sir. I checked the number plate to make sure I was opening the right door, sir. See, Miss Bird backs up my story. Yet what if you had misled her to fool her into thinking what you wanted? Huh, and how do you suppose I did that? By switching the number plates on our doors, for example. That's right, they do slide out pretty easily. Furthermore, you then used one other thing to give a very strong impression. That the door she was opening was yours and not, in fact, mine. What was it that Mr. Pottsman used to make Miss Bird think it was his room? His basketball hoop! Yeah! What, the basketball hoop, sir? It's quite the peculiar fixture in any hallway, let alone a hallway in this building. Which is why it left an unusually strong impression on you. It's an object perfectly suited to sit just outside the office of a peculiar prosecutor. Ah! That's very true, sir, but there was... Oh, because there was a basketball hoop sitting there. I thought the door I was opening had to be Mr. Pottsman's. There are signs that the hoop had been moved. To sit in front of my office, to be sure. I see, so that's how you throw suspicion on people. Thanks for the tip. But I think your conjecture is a little off the racetrack. Ooh, he's rebuttal-ing. Conjecture's rebuttal. Now you're just spouting nonsense. I had the girl open my office door. After that, I was in my room the entire time. You don't have a single reason to suspect me. So he intends to claim his innocence to the end, does he? Although I can already call bullshit on statement number 3. He was not in his room. And Miss Bird is as dirty and guilty as the jacket she wears. My jacket's not dirty, I'll have you know, I washed it just yesterday. Please calm down, for I intend to show who is the one truly covered in slime here. Rebuttal. To your rebuttal. No, just spouting nonsense. Nonsense, you say? Yes, because I'm telling the truth here. Okay, I love how short these are by comparison to, like, the court trials. It's ridiculous. Using the master key, of course. Sure, you have a problem with that? That is what the master key is for, right? Perhaps we should place it in an elaborate labyrinth of some sort for people like you. I was in my room the entire time. Bullshit. You was in your room the entire time, then why did they say you weren't? Why'd they say you were out? Looks like you're out. Guess I'll catch up to you later. Whoosh. Bitch. Bum. That was a lie. What are you talking about? How was that a lie? This is a note that the victim left for you, Mr. Pottsman. A note? It was left under your door, or did you not notice? And right here it says, but you're out. You were not in your room when the victim came to call on you. So then, where were you and what were you doing? Shall I explain it in full detail for you? You were busy snooping around in my room, the very room you had Miss Bird open for you. That's just nonsense. You have no evidence that I made the girl open your door for me. Oh, but I do. I have very decisive evidence. No way! This is proof positive that you had Miss Bird open the door for you. Wait. Oh, her prints were open. Wait. Hold the phone. Wait, what? Proof positive that you had Miss Bird open the door for you. Her prints were not found on his doorknob. Yeah, that would be it. And hers weren't on Edgeworth either because it was white. I like the music. Bam, bam, bam. I heard your door dusted for prints. My door? Huh, what for? Come on, I bet you didn't find anything. You sure are good at wasting time. You're right, I didn't find anything. And definitely not Miss Bird's fingerprints. Her prints? What do they have to do with anything? Let's put it this way. If she really was the one who opened your door, then her prints should naturally be on the doorknob she touched. I love his reactions. Further, all of the prints on my office door, or on my office doors, on my office doorknobs, or doorknob, have been wiped clean off. I don't know, it's just whatever. On my door's knob. I can only assume it's because Miss Bird's fingerprints were on it. Don't you think it's time you gave up your charade? We know you stole into my office with the intent of stealing something from me, and Detective Faith found you out, possibly because he heard sounds coming from a room whose occupant was on leave. Mr. Pottsman, you killed Mr. Faith to silence him. And I had the misfortune to return when I did. You had to threaten me as you'd escaped. As I said when you had the gun to my back, no one gets away with committing murder in my office. Huh? Great, it's going crazy. Breakdown! Oh god. And just what's so funny, pal? Well, that look of stiff seriousness on the face of the office's finest prosecutor, as he makes a huge mistake in accusing me, is simply too much to bear. There's just nothing else like it in the world. What? Mr. Edgeworth just explained it all, and he even backed it up. You're the murderer. Stop trying to be slippery and just admit to the crime already. And as I said earlier, it's all so circumstantial, so full of conjecture. You say you checked my doorknob for prints? Well, I can readily confess that I had wiped that knob down as well. Or that knob down well, eh? I'm a little obsessive compulsive, you see. I didn't want to touch a doorknob that you had touched. Which is why I wiped the knob down as soon as I could after you opened the door. After that, it makes perfect sense that only Jim's and my prints would be on there. You made that up just now, didn't you? Furthermore, as for the note Jim left for me, do you know exactly when that was? For all we know, he could have left it there before he arrived at the office. Like early evening, for example. Are you saying you failed to notice a note in your doorway? Hey, even geniuses fail at times. I was probably too preoccupied by work-related matters, although that's no excuse. Now that's just a flat-out lie. There's no way you didn't notice a note that size. Ah, but you can't prove that, can you? Say something, Mr. Edgeworth. Back me up here, sir. Pottsman's makes a good point. I can't prove that he didn't simply overlook it. Besides, I have an airtight alibi. Airtight, you say? I only realised that I had one just now as we were talking. God, I can't read. I guess it would have been better for all of us if I had told you sooner. Great. So what's this alibi then? Pottsman's alibi. If memory serves, you came back to this office at around 2 AM, correct? And it was then that you had the unfortunate confrontation at gunpoint with the culprit. But at exactly that time, I was down in criminal affairs. Ask around. I'm sure the other detectives will corroborate my story. Oh, it's a perfect alibi. Huh, okay. So, do you really think it's that perfect? Like I said, I don't care. Ask around all you like. You'll see for yourself. Detective Gumshoe. Sir, yes sir, I'll go check out his alibi, sir. Be right back. Sometime later. Mr. Edgeworth, sir, I think we're in trouble. It's just like Mr. Pottsman said. The guys down in Criminal Affairs said they saw him at around 2 AM. You see? All of the evidence points to him being the culprit. So there must be a contradictory point in his alibi somewhere. Press everything! Press everything! Pottsman's alibi. Hold it! Tell me more! You are correct, it was around 2 AM. Are you sure? It's really important to me that you're spot on with the time. I remember checking my watch then, and make no mistake, it was 2. Ooh, giving testimony like a pro. Okay, so you came back to your office at 2. You had the unfortunate confrontation with someone at gunpoint, so it wasn't him. It's as you say, however. Yes, however, you are the only one who claims to have bumped into the culprit. So tell me, did you see the person's face? Was it me who you saw? It was pitch black, so I couldn't actually see. Shit. Oh, come now. I'm sure you saw something. Try a little harder, why don't you? I'm beginning to feel like I'm the one being interrogated here. Oh well, it doesn't matter if you remember or not. It only matters that you ran into the culprit. He was down in Criminal Affairs. So you paid the Criminal Affairs Department a visit? Yep, right after I left the prosecutor's building, I headed straight for the precinct. Ask around, I'm sure the other detectives will corroborate my story. It's a perfect alibi. Shit. We're in trouble. Well, we did go and ask around to confirm your testimony. And it was just as I said, right? Yes, sir. A number of detectives said that they saw you at around that time. See? I have the perfect alibi. That's the ace I had up my sleeve. Ugh. Impossible. He actually does have the perfect alibi. What's wrong? Why the sudden sullen look on your face? Can't you say anything back, Mr. Edgeworth? Heh, I think we've reached the end of the line and it's time to get off this crazy train. You there! Sir, please escort the young lady out. But remember, be gentle. Maggie. Detective Gumshoe. Oh no! Is there nothing I can do? There must be a way to turn this situation around. If only I had a clue. Did I miss something that can help me cast doubt on his alibi? Shit, I didn't get to read that. I need to calmly think this through one more time, and with logic. Wait, so what's this? The intruder I met... Pardon me. Wait, so the intruder I met could not have been Pottsman. Then who could it have been? So, Mr. Pottsman's alibi... Another handgun? Okay. There were 2 bullets left at the scene of the crime. One that robbed Mr. Faith of his life, and one that nearly robbed me of my jacket. However, the murder weapon only showed signs of being fired once, meaning that it is entirely possible that a second gun was used in my office tonight. But seeing as how the killer had to steal Mr. Faith's gun, I doubt the killer had another gun up their sleeve. Therefore, the second gun could have been the property of an entirely different person. Which could mean that there was another person who paid a visit to my office tonight. Ah, another one I didn't read. So the file... okay. Maybe the victim and his killer weren't the only ones, or only visitors to my office tonight, and the file's in disarray. Okay. Supposing there was yet another visitor tonight. That would also resolve the issue of why my shelves were upended twice. We know that the shelves were disturbed once before and once after the murder, so it shouldn't be too much of a stretch to think that it was the work of two different people. One by the person who stole the victim's gun and then killed him with it, and once again after the murder by our second culprit, who was the owner of the second gun. If we suppose that the culprit's gun was the one that was pointed at my back... Mr. Pottsman, it seems that I need to amend my assumptions regarding this case. Great, so you finally come to your senses. Mr. Edgeworth, sir, what are you saying? This has been a big misunderstanding on my part from the start. I had assumed that the person I ran into was the killer, but that may not be the case. What do you mean? The person I ran into was just your average thief. A thief? But, sir, doesn't that cause some sort of contradiction in the facts? Not at all. It simply means that the killer was someone else. And it means that in actuality, two culprits stole into my office tonight. What do you mean, two? It explains both why my shelves were disturbed twice and how there were two guns. Mr. Pottsman tricked Miss Bird and gained entry into my office. Now you're just leading the argument. You still don't have any actual proof, you know. If you could please go along with my hypothetical scenario for now, Mr. Pottsman. In the end, if you really are innocent, you should have nothing to worry about. Grr. Now then, returning to my scenario, Mr. Pottsman was out to steal something from me, which is why he checked my secret safe and ransacked my shelves. This is the first time. So then this would be when the files were put back in the wrong order, right? Correct. And then, just as he was about to look elsewhere, who should walk in but his own partner, Mr. Faith? But why did Mr. Faith come into your room, sir? He probably had business with Mr. Pottsman, which is why he was in the area. But that's when he noticed sounds coming from my office, would be my guess. Oh, because you were supposed to be away, right? And he must have thought it was odd, so he came into this office to check it out. Correct, and as a detective, that was the right thing to do. But then... but when he came in, he found his own partner standing there. Because it was Mr. Pottsman, Mr. Faith probably let his guard down, but Mr. Pottsman was not so merciful as to let him leave alive. He waited for a chance to stole Mr. Faith's gun from him, and then... he killed him. He silenced Mr. Faith for catching him in the act of stealing. Ooh! Well, pardon me. This was the moment in which the first shot was fired. The one that landed in my shelves. Files. Following that, Mr. Pottsman wiped the gun down and left it behind as he made his exit. He could afford to do that, because he had also left the fake dying message behind. Pardon me. Oh god, that was awful. Heartburn and hiccups and burps. Lovely. You're such a complicated troublemaker, you know that? Well, if things were as simple as that, then all would be solved. However, there was yet another visitor to my room, and this is where it gets complicated. There was another? Visitor, sir? Yes, and this other person's objective was also to steal something from me. Now then, even after Mr. Pottsman left, the door to my office remained unlocked. However, this new visitor had no way of knowing that, and so... they stole the master key from the security guard's room, and then entered my room and searched through my shelves. This was the second time they were disturbed, and it seems the thief found their prize. The stolen zero file, sir. Right, sir? Correct. Only just as the thief was about to leave with the file, I appeared. The thief then threatened me with their own gun and made their escape. The second bullet was fired during that brief encounter. So the shelves getting messed up twice into two bullets. It was all because two different people were doing those things at two different times. Precisely. So now do you see, Mr. Pottsman? The person I met was just a thief, and was not in fact Mr. Faith's killer. Your alibi for the time frame in which I ran into the other person is now irrelevant. Because we now know that the murder took place during the first culprit's visit. Oh god, it's doing this again. What's so funny, pal? Absolutely splendid. Your scenario explains everything. Of course it does. it's Mr. Edgeworth after all. But you know, it still doesn't change the fact that it's all circumstantial. Supposing if, and that's a big if, your theory is right, it would indeed render my alibi, which has withstood scrutiny, mind you, irrelevant. But there is still one defining point of your argument for which you have no evidence. Your supposition that I was the first visitor. Mr. Edgeworth, you can't let him get away with that, sir. But he has a point. I have absolutely no proof at this point. Don't say that, sir. I don't believe this. Don't worry, Maggie. I'll do something if I must. You know something? I find your attitude to be somewhat peculiar, Mr. Edgeworth. If the person you met really was just a plain old thief, then why is that person not your main suspect? That is, if your theory is correct. Alright, here we go. The final testimony. Alibi part 2! That thief you ran into should be your real suspect, wouldn't you say? We should be out there looking for that thief right now. They might still be nearby. I hate to repeat myself, but as I've already said, I was training in my room. And when Jim came to deliver some evidence to me, I was down at Criminal Affairs. So I can't be expected to know what happened around here after I left. Boom 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 boom. So you think we should be out there looking for the thief? Of course. Now isn't the time to be wasting time on dead-end discussions. I don't think it's at all dead-ended. I found your alibi to be fascinating. Let's continue where we left off, shall we? I know he's lying. I know he was here at the scene of the crime. I just have to find a way to prove it. Time to press everything! Bum, 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 bum. I like the music. It's really upbeat. He's the real suspect. Bullshit. Actually, no, I wouldn't. Why not? That's elementary, my dear Watson. The dying message, of course. Mr. Faith's killer very clearly left those letters on the spines of those files. And it was after they were on there that the thief stole one of them. You mean the Zero files, right? And that's how we also know the letters themselves were a setup and not from Mr. Faith. If the thief was the killer, do you think they would try to undermine themselves? Maybe the killer just didn't think of that either. Yeah, that must be it. Maybe, just maybe. Hold it. Why does it cut off the music? It really does go silent. Hold it. Worked. So once escaped, I highly doubt a thief would linger nearby. Well, you never know. Maybe they didn't get what they were really after. Oh, you talk like you know quite a bit about this thief. It's nothing like that. I have no idea about anything, after all. Boom 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 boom. Hold it. Damn it. Hold it. Uno, dos, tres. Hold it. Oh my god, just doing that in several different ways is the best. It's just fun. Like what triggers it and what doesn't. Hold it you fuck does. Hold it does. Saying hold it regularly doesn't, because of course. But according to Mr. Faith's note... Hold on, I thought we already cleared that up. Didn't we say that Jim left that note for me in the early evening? If you have proof that he left it at a different time, say, just before he was murdered. I don't have any, no. You see, so I insist. So I insist again that I was in my office the entire time. Deliver some evidence to me. I was down at Criminal Affairs. Why didn't you go there with Mr. Faith? Ah, that's because he said he was tired and he was going to take a quick nap. You know those sofas in the hallway? He likes to sleep on those. It's one of his habits. What are the evidence he brought? They were things related to yesterday's case. Just 2 items, a gun and a pendant. Interesting. This piece of testimony seems too crucial to let slip through the cracks. He brought me 2 items, a gun and a pendant. Related to yesterday's case. No he didn't, he brought you 3, didn't he? I brought the 3 pieces of evidence. Yeah, so you're telling lies. Objection! Objection. Objection! Oh my god, nothing works. I really want to object. Fine. Dick. I love using my voice though. It's a gimmick, but it's fun. Only 2 pieces? I believe your proper, the proper phrase the proper phrase here is, you fail. Excuse me? You fail as a prosecutor, Mr. Pottsman, as you intend to keep evidence hidden from me. What are you talking about? I haven't hidden anything from you. Well, here's a piece I think you should read, carefully. Ah, it says that Mr. Faith was bringing 3 pieces. Yes, and this is the victim's real dying message to you, Mr. Pottsman. I can't believe it. To get tripped up by a simple arithmetic. Where is the missing piece of evidence? You have it, don't you? Only the guilty would make such a face. Detective Gumshoe. You don't have to say it, sir. I'll pat the guy down from head to toe. Don't come any closer, I'm warning you. It's all part of the investigation, pal. So don't even think about stopping me. No! Hey, what's this? He had this on him, sir. His pawn stash. On VHS. Despite what you said, it would appear that you do have something to hide. But why would he hide something like that? There's only one reason why anyone would hide evidence of this caliber. Because it would unequivocally point to that person himself as the real killer. Oh. Let's examine this videotape in a little more detail. For the section of the tape that will drive the last nail into his coffin. Oh, we're examining it. Okay. Whee! Aha! There's blood. Ah, that's blood, isn't it? Yes, and I believe this is what the good prosecutor was trying to hide from us. This blood is still fresh. You mean this might be Detective Faith's blood? No! No! You've got it all wrong. No amount of denial can save you. You have but to run a blood test to find the truth. You told us that you had received evidence from the victim earlier. Now you will tell us when and how did the victim's blood find its way onto this video. Yeah, it's totally suspicious. Was it at the moment of his death? Did Detective Faith have this videotape on his personage when you killed him? You know very well there's no way to prove that. Not even if we were to examine this tape for fingerprints? Oh! If I had to take a guess, I'd say that the only ones on here would belong to the murderous you and Mr. Faith. No, impossible. I'm guilty! Oh dear. Is he chewing through his medal? Oh god, he did, he ate it. And then he passed out. What the fuck? Oh my god, he passed out happy. What on earth? 5:47 AM. Mr. Pottsman has been placed under arrest for the murder of Detective Buddy Faith, sir. Very good. And the result we got back from the lab techs on the tape turned out to be real solid, sir. I thought I read that wrong at first. The blood work came back, and it was definitely Mr. Faith's blood on there. And as a bonus, they were also able to lift a few of Mr. Faith's fingerprints as well. Thank you very, very much, Mr. Edgeworth. I still can't believe I got to see your cool deduction skills outside of the courtroom. I'm impressed beyond words, sir. It was nothing. I'm just sorry you got caught up in a murder in my office. Please accept my apologies. Oh, it was nothing, really, compared to what I've been through, I mean. I consider myself lucky that it was only a burglary and a murder this time, sir. If it had been a hold-up or a hostage situation, I'd have thrown my hands up in the air. I think I'm finally rising up from a goddess of misfortune to just an unlucky person. Something tells me we should have hired a different person for security detail. Probably. You know something, sir? That Mr. Pottsman really was one corrupt prosecutor. Why would you say he was corrupt? Well, I heard that there was a number of suspicious things related to his court cases. There's even rumours about how some of the evidence he uses is forged, sir. Forged evidence, huh? And they say he even decided not to prosecute a few cases for some really vague reasons. Oof, that guy was a complete disgrace to the entire profession. We never did get around to asking what his reason was for breaking into my office. Yeah, whenever we got near that topic, he just clammed up. Although we can be pretty certain that it was to steal something. It's just between you and me, sir, but there's a rumour that some sort of huge organisation is involved behind the scenes. Oh, well, well. With Mr. Pottsman not willing to divulge anything, it certainly lends credence to that rumour. It would seem that we haven't heard the last of this. Huh? That Mr. Pottsman isn't the bad guy? I didn't say that, but rather that there are still many more mysteries for us to solve. For example, we still haven't figured out the significance to this piece of evidence. That's true. Yeah, the Series 0 file. The person who stole this file, the other villain of the night. Yeah, I wonder who it was. And what happened to the stolen pages? I wonder, who in the world was it that held me up at gunpoint? Mr. Edgeworth, sir. Yes? I came across this while I was processing your office earlier, sir. This card. Oh, it's the, Yatagarasu, isn't it? What is it, sir? Is that a bird or something on there? It's not just any bird. It's the mark of the raven, a three-legged raven. Even you should know what this is, detective. Oh, it's about that thing, isn't it? That great thief everyone's talking about. Yes, it is the mark of the great thief, Yatagarasu. Hey! Yeah, I remember that mark. Under the mark of a legendary bird, the Yatagarasu is noble to the end, a modern Robin Hood. Labelled mysterious and phantom-like, the Yatagarasu appears and vanishes at will. Though we don't know much about this thief's ultimate goal, we do know the targets. The Yatagarasu likes to find and make public evidence of corrupt dealings of all sorts. The theft is always performed in silence and always with perfection. Once a target is chosen, no dramatic calling card or announcement is sent forth. Instead, the chosen corporation is infiltrated without even the target noticing. Some days later, the evidence that was found is sent out to the mass media, along with this single card, although it has been a while since the Yatagarasu's last appearance. Hey, Mr. Edgeworth. Look, something's written on the back. What? Let me see. It's the location of where the thief put the stolen files. Sir, the person who stole the contents of the file was the Yatagarasu. Yatagarasu. Organisation. Quite a few keywords are popping up in this mystery. The murder in my office. The return of the great thief Yatagarasu. Looking back, I can't say I didn't see these events coming. For they were heralded by the incidents that began to occur 2 days ago. Right, so that's episode 1 finished. Finito! Very nice. Yes, I liked. That was great. Yeah! Do I want to save? You damn right I do. You bet your ass. Boy. Right, there we go. It doesn't just jump me straight into the next case, does it? I have to choose it. Right? Yeah! Perfect. The hell is that? Is that Karma? Von Karma? Shit. I didn't want to do that. What I was wondering is if the silhouette got coloured in, and it does. Or more so filled in. I didn't mean to select a save state point. Either way, that is going to be the end of this session. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed. And until next time, take care.